Oh, you
Well, I
want bad?
figured.
Oh, you want bad dragon?
Okay. So when you're a dumbass, you stop streaming instead of stopping the music. And then you have to
Yeah,
start streaming right away.
that's
Well, at least
that's how it's supposed to work.
yeah, at least we're all broadcasting to the correct URL as well too. But
Yes.
like when I stream with like restream this or two, and I forgot to like send the restream to the correct URL, I sometimes have a 5 second stream, and then maybe that like screws up the notifications for everything else because like no, I did set up a stream for like my stream today, but like I forgot to like switch it to like don't no restream to not create a new event, go to like this event on YouTube as we're doing. Blah. But yeah, we are live. Hello, lads, lasses, and NB badasses. This is the second Sunday of the month, so that means it's a Patreon show over on Just Alchemy. Currently, we're up now. We are joined by two of our patrons, Joe McClory and Ely. And so, how's everyone doing?
Hey Ellie, I'm good. I've been watching I started the morning off watching the history of ocean liners from the 1910s while I
Nerd.
was
Sorry.
it's okay. While working on part of my model ship, so I was doing that. Then I watched a World War One documentary and yeah, just doing that.
Hmm. And you survived a hurricane too.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Although the hurricane went Milton, which was the most recent one we just had, actually went further south.
Hmm.
Uh,
Stupid government using machines to control the weather can't even get it right.
I thought no, no, I thought that was
Oh my goodness.
That's the current conspiracy theory flying around. The government
wait,
can
what?
control the weather because HARP.
I thought the tubes controlled the weather. So
No, no,
which one
they
is?
have the space laser that they use to start fires.
Oh, well then why not
They
just?
also control the government, so they kind of control the weather. But it's not the Jews directly.
I like how anti-Semitism still exists while people who are protesting Israel are labeled anti-Semitism.
Mm.
I fucking love this universe.
The most raging anti-Semites love Israel because they want to get rid of the Jews. Either because
Yes.
this just makes them go away, or because they expect Jesus to come back and then kill all the Jews.
I mean, it's either that or the only people they hate more than Jews are the Muslims.
Right. And this is why religion is stupid.
Uh,
No, it is. I mean, like I put like I used to whenever I went to church, and by the way, and this is okay if we like talk about this briefly. I
yeah,
just want to just get it off my chest.
you know
Yeah,
how
like
much I hate religion.
yeah, okay, cool. And I hate it even more now since this dumbass war started. No, it's like
It's only a war if the two sides are fighting kind of equally. This is just genocide.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, that's true. Maybe if
Nazi
I ran
didn't go to war with the Jews; they just killed them.
maybe if Iran can't comes in, it's like maybe it'll be a war then. But
The Israel wants to fight Iran, and like the U.S. also wants to fight Iran.
well,
So
funny
it could happen.
funny enough with Iran actually has a lot of American equipment. So
Yeah, but it's from the '60s.
yeah, that's true. Although they've been getting a lot of stuff from Russia too. So like
Yeah.
a lot of them still have the F-14, the Tomcat, F-14 Tomcat, and I'm just thinking there's some Iranian fighter pilot watching Top Gun, like he
You are
last
not
30
wrong.
last 35 years to like know like whenever the IDF shows like the Israeli Air Force shows up, it's like he's gonna be like Maverick. I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyway, getting back to religion, I grew up in the Black Church, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and funny enough, when I was like in that church, you never heard anything about Israel or the Middle East. It's all about praising Jesus and probably, when I went to a more white church, it's all about we gotta protect the Israels it's it's basically like that. And I remember when I went to a collegiate church, that one of the pastors up there was like saying that Israel is being attacked by the enemy, and I didn't know what he meant by the enemy, but now that I'm more smarter, I know what he meant. He meant Muslims, and I was like,
He meant the enemies of Christ, which is a non-specific term that indicates everyone he doesn't like.
yeah, and
So
I'm
that would
like,
include you and me and the Muslims.
yeah, I'm like, well, you're not gonna get me involved in that bullshit. That was the day I left religion, and I have since fucking never looked back. And fuck, in fact I'm like warp speeding away from it as quickly as I can because this stuff is stupid. It's like so if you understand what these dumbasses think. By the way, like when they say like Israel is or the Jews are the chosen people, that's no different from any other cult leader that said the same shit about his group of people. We're the chosen people, like it's no different than Charles Manson. It's no different from Jim Jones and all those other people.
David Koresh, yeah.
Yeah, David Koresh, all of them. It's like the way they think is we got to get the Jews. So, well, first we got to commit a genocide to kill all the Muslims. Then we got to get the Jews in. Then God's gonna kill all of them, and then eventually God's gonna kill all of us eventually. So it's like the current genocide for the next genocide for the last genocide. This is it's the most it's the most dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard, and they're gonna get us all killed for it. It's stupid. I'm glad people are fucking leaving that garbage. Hate
Yeah.
that shit.
Are you
And the
done?
current white lash is partly in response to electing a black president. It's also partly in response to the far right-wing Christian church losing membership and power.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, geek, I'm done. But it could have been worse because I'm not drunk yet. No, it could have been fucking worse.
But Ailey looked like you wanted to say something.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Ellie. I'm sorry. I was on a rant. I'm
it,
sorry.
it's just it becomes extra sort of silly and annoying when you think about um, that Christians sort of, I don't know, I was always taught that when I, well, was raised Lutheran, I always learned that I should follow what the New Testament said. And the Old Testament was like history stuff. It wasn't anything that should govern my life in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that I know some people like like I said before, like my manager at the gas station that believes that the Old Testament is like real and stuff like that, including that like homosexuality is a choice and a sin.
Yeah.
I will say,
And the Bible is the big book of multiple choice. It's really easy to find justification for ignoring the Old Testament or following it because the authors of Matthew and Luke strongly disagreed about that. The author of Matthew was very much a Petrine Christian who thought you had to be a Jew to be a Christian. And the author of Luke said, no, you don't. You followed Paul.
Yeah, I didn't get it because like another thing too. When I used to go to church, this was actually a black church. You would think a black church would be better because it's more like a motive. I didn't like it either. In fact, like I would go to my church and I would come home because like my dad, because like I went to church with my dad. So when I moved back with my dad, my grandmother told my dad to keep me going to church. He didn't have to go to church, but I did. So I'm like, when I would go to church, I would just come back so empty. I was like, what? Huh? What? Like there was no connection there. I just got home and I was just like,
Yeah, I didn't feel anything after like going to church. Honestly, the only thing I for sure felt after going to church was like, I hate that wine in church. I hate that wine in church. It's just like, and honestly, that's why I avoid alcohol for a long time. Because the alcohol I try always reminds me of the wine of church.
that's why. So that's why I converted to the Church of Satanism. Carl said,
I wonder how Carl Sagan would like feel about being like anointed a religious leader, not of his own accord, something like that.
Probably.
Because
Probably not, because he's not a firebrand atheist, but he does have a lot of critiques about religion, from what I can tell.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an atheist, but he's more passionate or was more passionate about lifting up science and getting rid and promoting skepticism.
right,
Um,
kind of
that's why he
like
talked more about, UFOs and other conspiracy theory stuff. But the thing you said about coming home not feeling anything, both you, Geek and Isaiah, reminded me of it's one of those pastors who stopped believing and left the pulpit. And he spoke at the Skeptical Student Alliance a couple of times, I think. Jerry DeWitt, that's his name. And he talked about something that's actually kind of heartbreaking. People who didn't feel it, but who kept trying.
yeah,
He called them perpetual seekers. And you got to wonder how awful it is to think that there is a God who refuses to talk to you.
yeah. Or if you or like what I've heard is like when I would bring that question up, they would just say, "Well, you're just not trying hard enough," and I'm like,
Yep. Church doesn't fail you, you failed the church. Just like
"Can I punch?"
12
I'm like,
steps.
in my mind, I'm like, "Can I punch you in the face like really hard?"
Mhm.
It actually wasn't until this year that I actually heard a I don't know. I'm calling it a priest, but I know it's not what it's called probably in English what we have in our church in Denmark. But I'm calling it a
Pastor,
priest. Yeah.
church
Pastor.
leader, there's lots of
Yeah.
deacon.
And think of the Anglican church,
Um,
it's vicar.
yeah, but our church is not Anglican, it's Lutheran.
Ah.
She's Danish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. Why did I think? Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have rarely heard a church leader in our church talk very sort of passionately about scripture. And when my godmother had her service, because she wasn't buried, she was cremated. She the 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 pastor was talk very sort of passionately about sort of that we should believe in being reborn after death. And I have never heard that before, actually, because it was always wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. A lot of things brought me onto atheism. I think one of the last things that happened that really like put the nail in the coffin for me in like religion was back in 2015 when we had I went that was like the last year I went to church just for what just I mean I was going sparingly anyway, but that was like the very last time I really went to kind of appease my grandma. And I went there and the pastor basically just bitched and harped about gay marriage being legalized. And what really bothered me was this guy didn't say a damn thing about the 9 black folks that were murdered in that church in South Carolina. Remember that
Yep.
shooting?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He
Dylan. Really?
Dylan Roof.
Dylan Roof.
Yeah, he didn't.
I have to look that up. I haven't heard about.
It was a white supremacist who went into a black church during a Bible study, and he sat down with these 9 people for like an hour before finally saying, "Okay, I've heard enough," and killed them all.
Yeah.
It's
And
horrible. And the cops took him out for a fucking cheeseburger afterward.
Yeah, that was like thinking. It's like, was that one? Yep, that was the one where it's like, so the cops, white supremacists that actually shot people, they took them out to a Wendy's. Well, it's like
I think it was a Burger King.
Yeah,
It
pretty
doesn't
much.
really matter. It's not like Burger King wanted that.
I stopped being a Christian when I encountered American Christianity online. And I know I've told you this story before, but I just couldn't sort of that was the faith that I had, and then there was all this bullshit that was somehow the same religion, and I was like, I just can't. This is not computing, so I stopped.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it was never for me it was never because like I liked science. It's like science. It was just I just began to just see all the bullshit. I always liked it when I was at my collegiate church that it was like the pastor, he was like married to a Puerto Rican woman. He would only just call her Puerto Rican babe. It was so cringe.
Oof.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's my Puerto Rican babe. Yeah, it's he would talk about how like he was upset that the country, he said America was going to hell because like there was this gay football player. It's just like, first of all, it's football, so it's probably the gayest sport out there. It's
No, they tend to. I mean, it's going to be pretty intensely homoerotic in there. It's fascist
Right.
bullshit.
Yeah.
It's war games, but
Yes.
that sort of thing is going to self-select very strongly against the inclusion of any sort of queer person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just
Or
was
at very least any openly.
I was just
Yeah.
Mm.
I can't keep going and doing this shit because like the more I kept going, the more I fell out of contact with the message. This same church I went to, and I'll shut up after this.
Lucy
This
Jordan, hey.
Yeah, this same church that I went to, they also like we went to like a like a little like outing or something, and the guy who was like driving me out there was like, we need to stand up against gay marriage just like we stood up against racism in the 60s.
That is a
What?
very sensible and reasonable thing to say.
Notice how I put a gun to like a gun to my head with
Yeah.
it.
It's just like I'm just like, okay. It's like we fought against like one form
Because
of oppression.
the
That's what so
support
but so
of
we
minorities is the same thing as the oppression of minorities.
ah
Yes. Well, as long as although I mean there were Christians who were vehemently racist. So how
oh yes.
how do you
Yeah, that's real easy to
What do
find
you mean
justifications for slavery in
were?
the Bible. I tell you what.
I, I had and I don't get people who vote for Trump who say, "Oh, Trump does so much for the LGBT community," and it's just like he cares so much. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're out in the
I
streets because of him.
Yeah. It's just like if by care you mean that we live rent free in his and his minions' heads.
Mhm.
I honestly don't think Trump gives a shit.
No.
Yeah, I honestly, yeah, I agree.
Remember, this is 2 Corinthians, right? Did he say that? 2 Corinthians.
Mm.
It's like given the tone of his rhetoric recently, it seems like enough of the true believers around uh punishing trans people have seemed to actually infect him with a bit of like actual true believer status in that. But
Mhm.
outside of that, no, probably not.
Mhm.
Probably just
I mean, I
old
think
man
he is
thoughts
baseline an extreme
on
bigot, but I don't think he thinks about it or cares that much. It's just that
Mhm.
if he ever thinks about it, if he ever encounters something like that, he says, "Ew, they're less than human," and then he walks
Mhm.
away and
But that's
stops caring.
most people to Trump.
I'll say.
Yes.
But I mean, in the Republican Party, there are a lot of people who really care.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a dictator with less power than
I
him.
wish you could actually live rent free in people's heads.
Mhm.
Help with the housing crisis.
Nice.
Yeah. You know what? That like ties
I
into
just wish
like
we'd live rent free.
well, yes, but it's like
Mm.
so that ties into something I want to bring up. Kirok's not in like live chat right now, but this is an ongoing like topic that he and I like fight with on like my streams as well too. And Kirok finally like shared some of that on like Steve Jobs Ask Away on Friday, and that was only like part one. But where it's like, oh, and Cat. So Kirok, honestly thinks, and I don't know how he got to this conclusion, is that like if we communists have like take over the world and something like that and are controlling everything, someone like Steve Shives needs to be forced out of his home because he's one person in a 4-bedroom house and needs to be forced into a studio apartment.
Communism
And
means that everyone shares one big spoon.
Yeah.
People do think that they're wrong. And
yes,
it just takes
And it's
a lot of time.
and it's just like people who say that has probably never been in like a what's it called, collective.
Commune?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
housing co-op or something like that.
Yeah, housing co-op where people live together.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say in
Because for many people, especially like young people, it's a really good thing because there's so much sort of cooperation, and you can help each other make food and shop and
There's so many responsibilities that come with being an adult, living in a house.
Yeah.
It's good to be able to share those.
Yeah, it is, especially for young people who have just moved away from home.
Yeah.
There's so many people in college who don't know how to do laundry. It's always fun.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'll actually
Remember, it's one cap, not one cup.
I'll actually I'll add to that because like I work at FSU and I work around a lot of like college kids, and I actually got in trouble with like my boss. Well, not like in trouble, but I got like kind of like talking to because this female student basically basically left her like dirty ass pot on like in the common area, like in the like in the student like kitchen. It's like a shared communal kitchen, and she left it, and it was like getting like it was like over like Labor Day, like because like I saw it before Labor Day and I just left it there, and then when I came back I had to throw it away because it's like funky like old ass spaghetti in there. And so I had to toss it because that's a fucking ant roach and animal hazard. And she was like, I can't believe where you threw away my pot and pan. It was just there and it's like you can't leave your stuff like that. That's like
That's a health hazard.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I
it's
got
gross.
they moved me back to where I was. So, some of those people like definitely have never like known like living on their own. It's just,
No,
mommy and daddy.
and it's also just being in in the beginning of your 20s. I don't think you sort of think about the consequences as much as you maybe should
Yeah.
about leaving food out, because
Especially,
you haven't had that big bout of food poisoning yet from eating 4-day-old pizza or something like that.
Yep.
and especially if you've had, your mom there doing the stereotypical labor of the household, because that's what women are supposed to do.
That's what rich folks are supposed to do. Everyone else is supposed to just do their own thing.
But it is also like it's the kind of thing that I will say, I think most people learn it the first time it happens, when you make yourself really, really sick by eating spoiled food, and then you don't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a lesson few people have to learn more than once.
The Republican booth at like Pride in my town was avoided by so many people, like someone farted over there. Yep, that's yep. I totally see that.
Why do they bother?
I don't know why.
No Thuglicans at Pride, no cops at Pride.
I think the Thuggican party is hoping for the white gay cis men, as it were, to join their party because like some of them don't mind like gay people, but some of them do very much mind gay people. But like they can like join in the oppression of all the other marginalized groups, like anyone
Trying
non-white and like
You've
anyone
got a
trans.
gay businessman is what they're looking for. You're not going to find
trying
one of
real
those at
hard to
Pride.
get trying real hard to get a foothold in the LGB alliance group.
Exactly.
Like why do they want like machismo black and Latinx men more even though like back in the day that we used to be called super predators, now they need us for votes now. It's
Yeah,
pretty
because they're hoping that like that they would rather vote for like a white supremacist than a woman ever.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Lucy.
a lot of hotel.
Oh, oh man, oh no, that sucks to have a metamor, like a close metamor that passed away. That sucks.
What happened with Lucy?
So someone close to them, a metamor of theirs, passed away. Do you know what the metamor is, Isaiah?
No. I don't
So
know.
He's
your partner, a lover, is a paramour, and then like cis and trans, meta is not the person next to you, but the person next to that. So if your partner has a partner, that's your metamor.
Yes, exactly. If you're not partner with your partner's partner, but like then you're the metamor to each other because you both have the same partner.
Okay.
Polyamory is very interesting.
Well, send my condolences.
Yeah, definitely, Lucia. That is like tough to handle. Hope you handle it well. So hopefully we can distract you.
Losing
But
part of the family is always hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Maybe we can distract you by also bringing up something else that was like discussed a lot on like Steve Size Ask Away on Friday. Superman's jizz. Can he like Superman? Can Superman have
Officially,
like?
yes. He has children with a human woman. He didn't need to wear a kryptonite condom.
Yes, this is all based off. Yeah.
If you've seen Mallrats, you know this is a long, age-old discussion. He blows me up like a shotgun, blows out your back.
Man of Steel, Women of Tissue. Because no writer from like back when and stuff like that. Which maybe that's how they got the like the inspiration for that scene in Mallrats. Yeah, he just kind of discussed this as well. Since like Superman is like all of his like powers and stuff and abilities have been like amplified by like the yellow sun as well too. He probably like shoots off his load like a shotgun.
Yep.
And so, like,
it's like I've always wondered how do Klingons fuck? How does that happen? What
Their penises are barbed.
Okay,
And they break off like spiders.
that must hurt.
we do know something about how Klingons have sex because of like how Quark and like his like partner had to go. Jetsia, yeah, had to like, and they had to like, both of them were having sex with like a Klingon, and then both of them had to like go end up in the sick bay, and yet Dr. Bashir was like, "What were you doing?" And then Quark looked to his like partner. You mean what were we doing?
What do you call it? I read a really long treatise on making sense of Superman's powers as presented in the comics and talking about how what's shown and described can't be super strength because, it shows him like lifting things and them being able to be held up by a point in which the structure of it would collapse, that it has to just essentially be a form of telepathy or
well, I think that's because writers and artists are typically engineers.
Yeah, it's like really neat, like talking about and that's why he would have complete control over not punching through things, just punching things and knocking people away because it's not actual super strength. It's just he presents it as that.
Mm-hmm.
But at least he's not a Twilight vampire.
Oh, remember people?
I have toyed with like writing a serious horror thing with vampires with these basic sorts of traits of Twilight vampires because as much as because it's a love story, they're shown off as all wimpy and whatnot. They are one of the more powerful vampires in fiction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Super speed, super strength, invulnerable to sunlight.
Mhm.
And I think they can read minds.
A lot of
also,
them
like-
have psychic powers that are way stronger than the general charm powers that vampires are shown to have.
Mhm.
And also essentially made out of rock.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
they are incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're basically Superman if Superman drank blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Anyone Wonder Woman fans, or we got any Wonder
Oh, yeah.
Woman fans?
Yep.
Would Alexandra Daddario make a better Wonder Woman than Gal Gadot, especially after considering Gal Gadot is like kind of a
That's
Zionist?
She's a Zionist.
I don't know who you are talking about.
Alexandria
So-
Daddario, she's been in a couple of TV shows. She's not
That's like-
the more famous. She's kind of a C-lister.
She has like really piercing blue eyes. It's
Mhm.
like
and
like
big
looking-
tits. That's
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
her selling point.
Now,
Um,
now I'm picturing Lucy Lawless, but
No, Lucy Lawless would be a great Wonder Woman, though.
Mhm.
You know, Ellie, I thought you were about to say Lindsay Lohan for a minute.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan would be Aphrodite.
I'll say
Yes.
you make a joke, but I mean, besides the fact that she's not a great actress, she would be fine. She's tone. It's not the wrong look.
Mhm.
She was good in Mean Girls. So
It's-
just chill. She was good in Mean Girls, and I had the biggest crush on her back in the early aughts from that
Mhm.
movies.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Is she blonde in that one?
no, she's a redhead.
She's a redhead thing.
She's always been a redhead, and from what I've seen in like movies, she's portrayed.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Emma Stone. She's the one that bounces back and forth between blonde and redhead.
Mm.
Gwen Stacy and her natural hair. The help.
Mhm.
So
She's
yeah,
red.
so Alexandra Daddario, she's a decent actress. I've only seen her in the handful of episodes she was in before they killed her off in White Collar.
Mhm.
She was fine. She could probably step up if they keep giving her roles, but mostly to be sexy. But that's because Hollywood is shit. I don't know if she's ever
Yes.
been pushed in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't say I've seen any of these things.
Yeah, I saw briefly some of her filmography, and it's just like, no, I haven't like seen any of these things as well too. I don't. I guess
I really should watch. Is this the? No, this is the bad. This is the bad Percy Jackson. This isn't the.
Into superheroes that much, but
But I have been meaning to watch the Baywatch movie and True Detective. I just haven't gotten around to them.
True
Yeah.
Detective, is that the one with Eliza Dushku?
no, that's Dollhouse.
I
Speaking
think she was
of-
also a detective. A different thing.
I haven't seen.
Speaking of Cena, the actor who plays Hercules, he's like a right winger.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Sorbo.
Sorbo.
And occasionally you'll see a tweet pop up. I wasn't blacklisted. I left because they're all pedos. The thing is, when he showed up on Supergirl, that was disappointing because Supergirl shouldn't have people like that. But he was a perfectly charming. He did a great job with that role. I mean, he actually is a decent actor.
Yes.
And he got blacklisted because he's an absolute piece of shit. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
My understanding is it wasn't even like, well, it could have been because of his views, but it wasn't that the audiences said stuff and he wasn't allowed because it was his views. My understanding is he's blacklisted because he's terrible to work with.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't surprise
Lucy
me.
Lawless, I think, said something like that. After-
Like, one time.
What's that?
I was saying Lindsay Lawless, I think, laid into him one time about something.
Oh, yeah.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
'Cause
So you have your
Lucy
hand
Lawless-
up. You have something you wanted to say there?
Yeah. I was just saying that I never was really into like superhero movies, but my dad
Yeah,
was. I remember my first superhero movie was the 2005. Actually, it was 2000. Was it 2004 for Fantastic Four, the Jessica Alba one?
Probably, yeah.
Somewhere around then, yeah.
Yeah, and
I try not to remember those.
Superman Returns. I think that I got into that one.
I should at least
I was
get
gonna say
like
those aren't even like bad to the point where you wouldn't want to remember them.
Mhm.
They're like boring bad.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're just
to remember.
they're mediocres. It's like
Yeah,
Yes.
they're very
it's like
mediocre.
going to a fast food place and getting a disappointing cheeseburger.
yes.
It's like, this is supposed to be the one good thing you're good at, right? But
Mhm.
they're meh.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right, oh McDonald, we forgot that we haven't mentioned God's Not Dead, where like Kevin Silver played the evil atheist professor.
The only way to become an atheist is because you lost someone. No, dude, I was 15. I had a conversation with someone. I don't even remember what argument he used that convinced me. It was probably bad.
Oh my goodness.
Which was like, it's a good point because like this was brought up yesterday on Owen McDonald's channel because he had on Steve Shives, Caroline Pete, who she was like on like a Feminist Frequency as well too, and Danny Corks, the frustrated historian. They brought up I think Steve Shives brought up Archie Bunker or like All in the Family. That was a show that was like written by liberals. Is very radical, but even though like they kind of like wrote the character of Archie Bunker, like they're kind of like rival as it were too, they still treat him as human as were too, and you're not supposed to agree with Archie Bunker, but you still have compassion for him.
Yeah, but the thing is, even then the show wasn't great, and neither was the spinoff.
I don't think anyone remembers the spin-offs.
Moving on up to the west side.
Okay,
I was gonna say Archie Bunker's Place or the Jeffersons.
the Jeffersons went on for 11 seasons, even though it got like they changed the like time it was aired on 15 times.
Yeah,
That's
and
one
that
of
show
the
was also kind of a
series that
problem.
Didn't make it to my country.
Oh, the Jeffersons, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys ever heard that show called My Mom with the Car? My Mom.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
I have never heard of this.
I just
never heard of it.
I've never seen it. But I love the theme song so
My
much.
Mama the Car?
My Mother the Car. Yeah, it's like Knight Rider, but well, not like Knight Rider, but it's I don't know. It's like this guy's mother is like her voice is like a 1920s car or something.
Yeah,
It's
she,
amazing
like,
what
passes
you can put on
away and
television.
her spirit inhabits a car to look after him.
Right. I just like the theme song, My Mother the Car. And then it does the hard
One show I
Sometimes being on the spectrum, you have a lot of fucking fun with shit other people don't give a rat's ass about.
one show I always get a kick out of is Mr. Ed because it's so absurd.
Yes. The horse.
There are so many shows where people have to interact with things they're not supposed to interact with. You're not supposed to be serious talking to a puppet, and yet Alf.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ted.
And it's just like, but there's just something about Mr. Ed, and it's just.
Yeah.
And
At least, yeah.
Have any of you noticed that in Star Trek, in that episode where they go back to old New York,
Yes.
the time portal sounds like Mr. Ed.
Hello, Wilbur.
It's very possible because, like, after all, the Riddler was in that episode of like the two aliens, but he is like white on his right side. I'm white on my left side, and they still fought each other as well too. Let that be your last battleground. That episode. And hello, Martha.
It's where they go back to New York, and Captain Kirk falls in love with what's her face, and then
Edith
they have to kill her.
Oh yeah, but the Captain Kirk falling in love with like a woman is like every episode of Star Trek, so he has to be like most specific. But like they have to kill her afterwards. Okay, yeah.
Oh, Star Trek had some problems too. Yeah, like the Native American planet.
Oh yeah,
teepees and wigwams. That's a hat on a hat.
They continue.
Black Planet. Remember the Black Planet? Or
although
I'm gonna be honest. That episode is horrible, but I think the one with the Irish folks was probably a bit worse.
That was the next season afterwards too. Yeah,
it's a lot. That episode is so much.
Gene
like,
Roddenberry did a lot of drugs, and
I'm like, at least they gave the Africans, the black folks something. The
they
Irish
finally got their
like,
40 acres.
yeah, they like drunkards. They're like barefoot. It's like, what the fuck?
Marty Anthony has a important question. Have anyone heard from Tom? I haven't really that much, but like I think let me check Facebook because like haven't heard anything else. The last time we saw Tom in this live chat, he dropped what was like big news at the time. Tom's still active on like Facebook as well too, so he seems to still be alive. You know,
I haven't seen anything much. I don't think he posts too much.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. Like Mario, Kirk's like true love is a mirror. Absolutely, yes.
And obviously it's Kirk and Spock and McCoy, OT3. God.
slash fiction. Yes, absolutely. That's how the Star Trek fandom stay alive through slash fiction. Absolutely.
What is Warren Mitchell?
I don't know. But like
David Mitchell was wasn't it the guy in the pilot episode where not the pilot with it was they have to save he gets zapped by a space laser and gets silver eyes, and Kirk has to kill him.
Oh, okay.
So Warren Mitchell was an actor, a British actor, from the 50s on. So for 50 years, that means he probably made about 5, maybe 10 whole television episodes.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I'm thinking of Gary Mitchell.
Oh,
yeah.
Quickly before I forget, the recent what was actually 255 AD brought up two Steve Shives. There was a survey done by women, supposedly heterosexual women as well too, of what superhero they would like to date most likely so too. And the winner surprised older men because older men kind of this cis straight men thought that women were going to pick Batman as the superhero they wanted to date. Nope, they picked Spider-Man instead.
Spider-Man, really?
It was Spider-Man because he's funny and likable.
Yeah, but the Flash can vibrate every part of his body.
If I had to date a male superhero, it would be Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Yes.
I'll say I would have assumed either Superman or Captain America. But
yeah.
Well, the thing is, they're nice, but nice is boring.
I suppose. if nothing else, Spider-Man isn't boring.
And Isaiah,
he is probably the most fully realized comic book character, at least in his own series, as opposed to other people deconstructing them. I mean, what do you call it? Jessica Jones in the Alias series is a complete ass person, a broken person, but a complete person.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, the Netflix shows did a really good job with those characters. I thought. Isaiah, you wanted to say something?
She's not.
Sorry.
Ellie, go ahead.
I know she's not a superhero, but I would totally date Eartha Kitt's Catwoman.
Oh yes, I was just Eartha Kitt as Catwoman from the 1960s, Batman. Yes, absolutely.
Not Halle
Berry.
Halle Berry.
It's nothing against Halle Berry. I think she's beautiful, but that role is not good.
No, that movie was that. I mean, there was something about the mid-2000s. There were a lot of meh superhero movies.
Oh yeah, so many.
I mean, at least they'd gotten over the 80s and 90s where Marvel couldn't seem to get their head out of their ass.
Yeah.
But oof.
It is. But no, Eartha Kitt, that's a Catwoman. Yeah, definitely. And at least with Halle Berry, she was there to accept her Razzie for the worst performance of the year that year, something like that. She had a sense of humor about that movie, at least.
Oh yeah, my hand was up. Ooh, what? I was gonna I would date Kaylee Cuoco if she was like if she was Supergirl. You guys know who Kaylee Cuoco is?
She was the girl from Heroes, the cheerleader. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh no, no,
everyone,
that's not Kaylee Cuoco. Kaylee Cuoco was the chick from the Nerd Face movie, TV show,
yeah,
Big Bang Theory.
yeah.
She's the blonde.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
would. Oh my
Yeah, the girl,
God.
blonde girl from Heroes is Hayden Panettiere.
Yes, I
Awesome.
think.
It's like I'm like a it's like I would totally date Kaylee Cuoco if that ever had the opportunity in some other universe.
Is she Penny in that or one of the other
She's
ones?
Penny.
She's Penny. She's Penny. Yeah.
It's so weird that they like make her the I don't know. Maybe it's just a type thing. Like she
Mhm.
seemed like the least interesting and
Oh,
least.
that's because that show is terrible.
No, I get that, but I mean, of the girls they presented in that show that ended up
That's because she's meant to be the
being
girl next.
love
She's
interest.
literally the girl next door.
Yeah.
What is the girl next? I'm not really familiar. Like I've heard that term before, but can
It,
what?
it shows up a lot, and it's meant to be just a nice, normal girl, and it's also a
Mary
big thing
Jane.
for, yep,
Mary Jane from
in the story,
Spider-Man.
yep. Um, she's supposed to be, your high school crush. She's supposed to represent down home Americana, and
Mhm.
it's an experience you can ask for with the sex worker.
Right. She does say she's from Nebraska, so that
Yeah,
yeah, she moves. She's from Nebraska. She goes to
to
L.A.
L.A. to be an actress, and she ends up a waitress, and she moves in next door. She's literally the girl next door.
I
Um,
see.
Hmm.
Okay,
and think about the asking for that from a sex worker. As I understand it, you just go on a normal date, and then later you
Yep.
have sex.
as
Um,
much as Big Bang Theory is probably bad, I feel like Young Sheldon is probably worse because it's like I I actually like watch YouTube videos about like the breakdown of shows like that, and apparently Young Sheldon is more of a dick in the is more of a dick when he's a kid as opposed to when he's an adult. So
Mhm.
mhm.
That doesn't surprise me. That
That
reminds me of
show,
how,
it's ableist and misogynist and racist, and
it's
yeah.
like,
it's
can you
like that reaction in the 90s, the early 90s, to all the progress that had been made across the 60s and 70s when we started
Mhm.
getting
yeah.
Ronald Reagan TV shows.
It's like, can you
Oh
imagine,
goodness.
growing up autistic in Texas in the 1980s and 90s? It must have been horrible.
Hmm.
We gotta go to church and pray to God, 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 God,
I
that
really
thing.
think that South Park damaged a lot of sort of social.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, some of South Park is still funny. Like the
Yeah,
earlier stuff is still funny.
yeah.
There,
There's some things that are funny in South Park, but what I really don't like is that they make fun of people who care about movements. That is annoying.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think my
Because
favorite. Go ahead, Ellie. I'm sorry.
uh, the the episode with the Easter Bunny and the Pope, that's still funny.
Hmm.
I think my
South Park was willing to attack everyone
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
because
think
they weren't really, they didn't have anything to say. They just wanted to attack everyone. That was like the early 2000s, turn of the century. We had all that shock humor, the outrage humor, the Man Show,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
Joe Schmo Show.
Hmm.
were you guys ever like fans of Spike TV? Any Spike TV?
Hmm.
That's that they came up with some of that shit.
Hmm.
I think that's
Even
where the Man Show was.
yeah.
What was
Oh,
it?
Mansers. Remember Mansers or whatever the fuck that show was?
I don't
No.
know about Manchester. Man Show was on the Comedy Central, if I
Mm,
remember correctly.
okay.
Yeah. I think my favorite South Park episode was I guess when it was like them and like what Timmy, he was like disabled and they were
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
because like it was like he was like because Timmy is crippled and they were like we want to join the Crips, the gang.
oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that one was funny
I
as
think their
fuck.
most brilliant episode was after the 2000 election.
Mhm.
When there was all that shit about the election being wild, and the thing is, they had to turn that shit around in 24 hours,
Yeah.
and they did an entire plot thread about class president in kindergarten, and
Yes.
absent kids count, absentee ballots.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh
What
my
about
god, it's
you guys
amazing.
watch the Canada
Is
episodes they
that the
had?
douche and turd episode?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the Canada ones? Blame Canada.
That was in the movie, the bigger,
Bigger,
longer.
longer, and uncut.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy it, get stoned, and laugh my ass off.
Careful, it's
Some of it,
kind of
some of
homophobic.
it holds up, and some
Yeah.
of it does not.
Yeah.
But I
But
mean,
oddly
it really
enough-
does take apart the Hollywood's bullshit values.
Mm.
Remember,
Oddly enough, I
remember,
never had a
horrific,
problem
deplorable
with
violence is
Jimmy.
okay, so long as nobody uses any naughty words. That is what the MPAA is all about.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oddly enough, I never had that big of a problem with Timmy and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because they do actually make them people. They use
Yeah.
them to do shocking and outrageous jokes about cripples, but again, they do that to
Characters
everyone.
actually have agency, which is a lot better than a lot of other representations, sadly.
And
Yeah.
they make some really good points. They have a kid who's black. He's the only black kid in town, and his name is Token.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're willing to attack Hollywood, and a lot of shows aren't willing to do that, aren't able to get away with it, and unfortunately, they also attacked people who probably didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, but it wasn't only South Park. It was the general sort of mindset at that time that it was uncool to care about things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of a response to. I mean, it's like. I think it was a response to the Republicans. They had finally finished their transition into the white supremacist Christian nationalist fascist party in 92, or 94, I should say. And then they started, really making moves, and it became easy to be cynical.
Yeah, whenever Pat Buchanan said we're in a holy war that's just as bad as the Cold War, because all those times gay folks had nuclear weapons pointed at us.
And
Pat
like after
Buchanan.
9/11,
Yeah.
all you have to do is say 9/11. You can get any sort of law passed you want, and it became really easy to see that it was just a power grab.
Yeah.
And
It was just a shock doctrine.
Cynicism became very easy.
You guys know that Seth MacFarlane actually almost died on 9/11?
He was supposed to be on one of the planes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And apparently it's like he does a lot of 9/11 humor and like.
Oh yeah, he does.
And I think he is really, as I understand, he has really grown as a person, or at least as a writer and performer. Because Family Guy also did a lot of that. Kind of cynical, kind of not. But now he's doing the Star Trek knockoff.
Yeah.
Orville.
Orville. He wanted to make Star Trek, and he's doing a lot of. I've heard some people say that he does a better job of that than Star Trek did.
I think Steve Shives like the Orville as well too.
I have a internet friend in California that had a plane ride scheduled later that day that was going to go out of where was it, like Colorado to head back home, and it was legitimately the plane she was going to take was going to go to Colorado originally, and I think it was the one that was crashed in the Pentagon.
Oh.
So that flight was
we all have our 6 degrees of 9/11.
Yeah, it was just weird.
I mean, I went to school in upstate New York, so a lot of people from
Oh yeah,
Long
I'm sure.
Island. I mean, 13,000 people at that school. A lot of them came from Long Island. Like the guy came in and said the thing, like some terrorist just crashed a plane into one of the Twin Towers. Girl at the next table over said my dad works out there and ran out of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I know it's a bit sort of silly, but
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes get legitimately a little bit shocked when people make fun of 9/11 because it was such a big event in I mean, obviously not as big as it was in the US, but still kind of a big event. So I sometimes get shocked when people make fun of it, and then I remember, oh, it's 23 years ago.
And also, it's America, and the Twin Towers were a symbol of American imperialism in a lot of ways.
True.
Although,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but my autistic ass, like I think, like the Twin Towers is one of my favorite buildings because it's just like I have autism. I love buildings and shit.
And
Um,
they were impressive structures. That's
right.
not lie.
So
But you have your hand up.
yeah, I was gonna like add my 9/11 story if you didn't mind.
No,
Fine.
go ahead.
My mom, I didn't know about it until like I got home. This was like at 4. So this was right before Building 7 fell down.
Mm.
7. Anyway, and my mom had told me that a plane had crashed through the World Trade Center, and I didn't even know what that was. I thought she meant like a plane had crashed, like a little Cessna had
Because
crashed.
the airplanes do hit skyscrapers.
Yeah,
It's not infrequent.
it's not
They're built to
super
withstand it.
common, but
I mean, yeah, I mean, one happened in 1943. A B-25 hit the Empire State Building, but yeah,
But yeah, not common, not uncommon. It's just people know about it. They know what happens.
my mom, like, I thought she said a plane had hit like somewhere in like downtown Tallahassee. My mom just left early, but when I got home and I actually saw it, I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
great.
And just a quick reminder, your flashbulb memories are just like every other memory, meaning they're crap. People think those flashbulb memories, where were you when JFK was shot? Where were you on 9/11? Those things, they're not better than other memories. They get changed, molded. They're plastic.
Yeah.
And
And
I had nightmares for years afterwards because it wasn't like a really big skyscraper, but there was a skyscraper next to where I lived. And I had nightmares about that building falling over for like years afterwards. And it was just such a weird dream.
Yeah.
And
I bet.
The Onion did such a good job using humor to portray the horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not knowing what to do, American woman bakes an American flag cake.
It's like they just show actual scenes, footage, or not footage, but photos from the day, and say again, not a photo from a Jerry Bruckheimer film.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like we see this shit in film all the time, but when it actually happens, it's
yeah.
That's right after the attacks, they had to like scrub a lot of art, like a lot of films with the Twin Towers, and I remember
Oh yeah.
I remember
they delayed movies. They did all sorts of things. They had to.
Armageddon. There's the movie Armageddon where there's the New York City meteor shower. And like, Twin Towers are in it, like burning, like, so they didn't get rid of it.
They had to scrub that. The first Tobey Maguire movie, Spider-Man movie, they had to take the Twin Towers out of that and replace it with a giant American flag.
Yeah, and it's so sad. I've actually seen the scene they cut out, and it's really kind of neat where he like catches a helicopter in a web he strings up between the Twin Towers.
Yeah. They eventually put that in, I think, an Andrew Garfield movie, but with different buildings.
Yeah.
Did they sell pictures of the World Trade Center, like posters? Because they did in my country.
I never saw
they
one.
did.
It would not surprise me. I never saw any.
There was also like, so this movie, can you guys see it?
Is it a little bit of reflection on there? What a girl wants?
So yeah, this is the Amanda Bynes movie. There was a cover where she had her fingers in a peace sign, but I think after the attacks, it's like that. It's like in her pocket. Or it's like behind. So yeah.
Which is ironic because what's her name? Alanis Morissette had one hand in her pocket and the other hand giving a peace sign. That's not ironic. It's just a reference.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I see what you did there too. Let's see. Speaking you know what, like this is taking this in a new direction, but like so on New York. Oh God, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams. He is on trial. He's charges have been is voted against him for corruption, and
Ugh.
this is and the thing is like this is incompetent corruption because his staffers are texting. Wait a minute, should we mention this as word too? Because isn't this illegal, cat?
Yeah.
Is Mayor Adams a Republican?
He's a
No,
Democrat.
he's
a
just
cop.
he's
a
he's
Democrat.
he's just a cop.
You're an asshole.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
terrible
cops are
stuff.
basically Republicans. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of Democrats, like mayors, like the mayor of Portland was a Republican, and just turned Democrat because
You guys don't
I mean,
like
between him and Rudy Giuliani, it's like New York says Chicago and Louisiana don't have the market cornered on the corruption.
Well, you're not gonna like Kamala Harris. Think she was a cop and a prosecutor, so you're not gonna like her.
No.
yeah, we don't like
She's
her.
better than the alternative, but she ain't good.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's.
I am really disappointed that she can't even sort of admonish Israel just a little bit for the shit they're doing at the moment.
Yeah,
It's kind of the third
rough.
rail.
Because at the same time it's really easy to understand not wanting to invite a flood of
Anti-Semitic bullshit.
Yeah.
well, that too, but specifically is it just APAC? Yeah, money.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
AIPAC.
AIPAC. It's also just dumbass religious zealots who are like, regard.
And the conservative members of the party too, that like that all do want to like ally with Israel and just like and to have like a base basically in the Middle East to be able to stabilize the Middle East as well too.
Yeah, it's
And honestly, at the high level of politics, they want Israel there. It's not really because of they want to kill the Jews or get rid of all the Jews. It's because they want Israel there to destabilize the Middle East.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
But
Which is what Israel's doing right now with like attacking like Lebanon as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Biden said it back in the 90s. If there wasn't an Israel, we would have to make one. And we did.
but also the bullshit about reaching across the aisle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like like less than an inch away from the other side of.
Is that my mind went to a dirty place and
I
don't want to
really hope that we can either one of two things happens where the Republican Party takes a big enough loss that they decide to reach the hand the same way and the right finally moves towards the center, or the Democrats stop doing that
Yeah, I don't know.
the other way and actually give things to their base.
Yeah,
Liberals will always choose fascism over helping people.
I know, but I hate it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Have you heard about Anna Kasparian leaving the left?
I saw that.
What?
From the Young Turks, right?
Oh, okay. So yeah,
I mean, honestly, save for Emma that went over to the Majority Report. It seems like every single person who had their start in the Young Turks has gone down that path, and it's.
I mean, Dave Rubin started on the Young Turks, but like the Young Turks weren't willing to pay Dave Rubin $1 million per 1 hour show each week.
Jimmy
Or
Dore.
Oh God,
I
Jimmy
mean,
Dore.
I mean, I know Hassan Piker is a shithead, but
Yes.
at least he's still leftist in his principles.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is then again, I think that it's interesting that like I saw like a bad empanada video of like 2 months ago how he talks about the how voting is supporting genocide and something like that, but he was mainly drilling at like the leftist content creators, which include Hassan Piker, but also that terrible douche canoe like Vosh and something like that, and how it's how they say that it's like leftists to vote for Kamala Harris, and it's just like stop. Just stop. We heard the anarcho-Bidenism from like last time.
Yeah.
Are you guys friends what's her face? Francesca something.
Francesca Ramsey?
Franny
Or Fran-
Fiorentino.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
The name
she's pretty
sounds
awesome.
familiar.
Cool.
She does a news broadcast. She's very much a leftist. She's awesome.
The Habituation Room. It's like
Yes.
Yes. I haven't caught that, but I've seen
Franny
or
Fio.
heard her several times on Behind the Bastard episodes.
Oh, okay.
That's where I heard it. That's where I've heard that name.
Okay.
But I never really saw the Young Turks as being leftist in the first place.
Yeah. Honestly.
They seemed like they were fairly progressive liberals on some things, fairly conservative liberals on other things. And I know that they're literally Turks. They deny the Armenian genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Well, that's weird because I actually watched. So I watched the episode I was watching was actually about the Armenian genocide. So you know,
it might just be the one guy, Cenk Uyghur.
It was basically like, I guess people thought that
Jank. Yes, it's pronounced even though it is spelled Jank.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about his last name. I don't know if I get that right at all.
Uyghur. That's how I heard it.
Uyghur.
The drunken peasants. I think what's his Billy. I think Billy one time called him like skank yogurt or something.
Got to be careful about deliberately mispronouncing ethnic names. But
true.
There was one really cool thing I saw from like a big mainstream YouTube channel. You know how the Mythical channel does interviews with celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Serge Tankian from System of a Down on, who is like an activist.
Yep.
Who and that channel has accusations against him for being Zionist, and it's probably true. But Serge Tankian came on, and it wasn't like a big revolutionary statement, but he just said something about Israel Palestine, and that was like the first time I had heard them take a stand on it.
That's
it's always hit or miss with musicians and actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because being a really talented performer doesn't mean you're going to make the right decision.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine him taking the wrong side on that after listening to especially the later albums of System of a Down.
Yeah.
But then you hear about the Foo Fighters and the fact that they supported AIDS denialism for years.
Yeah. I didn't know that about
Rebecca Watson did a video about that recently.
I see.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. They've now withdrawn that support. They no longer publicly maintain their support for various AIDS denialists and organizations and so on, but they haven't come out and apologized or retracted it or anything like that.
Yeah.
I never really had a feel for Dave Grohl's political affiliation.
According to the video, people see him like they see Keanu Reeves. You know, they sort of mythologized him into a Jesus character.
Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves is sexy as fuck.
Yeah, but I mean, there's been so much disappointment around sort of Israel, Palestine, and celebrities. It's just like
Mithril. I also have heard that Chris Christopherson was based. He was like one of the few people to openly come out and support Sinead O'Connor when she said the Pope can go fuck himself because he won't stop his priests from fucking kids.
Yep.
Well, the problem with Hollywood is like there's a lot of fake liberal left. It's just fake as hell over there.
Yeah, it's pretty performative. I think they do believe it. They just they're insulated enough from the actual suffering of the world that they don't feel compelled to act on it.
Yeah.
And when they do, it turns out they're Sean Penn.
Yeah, it's sad. That's why I kind of wanted to work in Hollywood, but like now that I'm like seeing all the bullshit going on, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, Hollywood's a
would
business. You're never going to be allowed to be actually a good
true.
person.
Yeah.
I have to say that I kinda expect like most sort of mainstream politicians to to come on to come off as like supporting Israel in the conflict because it's the most profitable to them.
Hmm.
Not that I like it, but I just assume that they do, and the same
Yeah.
with most celebrities.
Hmm. Yeah.
Israel has a very well-funded lobby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Palestine does not.
Yeah, unfortunately. And
So
so that's
Israel's going to
it
be able to
does.
bribe a lot of politicians.
Yeah, yeah, and then just become the like mainstream kind of like position as it were to like to be supportive like of Israel and be like questioning like a Palestine to the point that even Tommy Coast on like CBS this morning because he wrote a book and he talked about his experience when he traveled to Gaza directly just like and again his impression was like last year or something like that. I don't know the thing about like a Middle East like history of politics, geopolitics, but he when he was there and saw that like Palestinians cannot go in places that Israel people can go, and seeing how like Palestinians are just sex class citizens and how Palestinians don't have a vote,
Oh no, they're
Israel.
equal citizens. But ethnic shit.
The Tom Hanks relates to his experience from what he's heard from his parents about like segregation and that sort of thing too, and it's just like it's one for one. It's just like
Yeah, it just
It's
is.
apartheid.
It's not.
Mm.
It just is apartheid.
I
Yeah,
mean, they use
All
the
you
Hebrew
have
word
to
instead
do,
of the Boer word, or the
yeah,
Afrikaner word, whatever. But it
the
literally
Dutch
just
word.
means separation, apartness. You know.
Yeah,
all you
so
really need to do is to look at the progression of of how small
mm,
the
The territory.
Palestinian areas
Yeah.
mm,
they keep shrinking.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's
I
really
remember
all you
seeing a
need to
meme
know.
once. The meme. Um, it did the thing with the Office, where
mhm,
Yeah.
corporate needs to find you the differences between these two pictures. It's the same picture, and
mm,
the one picture was the U.S. showing the shrinking of Native American territory, and the other was
yep,
Palestine.
yep.
But, Isaiah.
No, I didn't want to like just blurt out and interrupt Geek, but I
Mm.
was gonna say like I actually read his book,
Oh,
Coast.
nice.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, well,
He's
I
a
didn't
smart
read.
guy.
Yeah, I didn't read it. I listened to it while I was working at my
Mhm.
job.
That's reading it.
Oh my God, that book made me so angry. Not
Mhm.
not angry at him, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
about the situation.
Yeah, it is. And again, like what it is, it's at least CBS did apologize and said they'll take actions against like one of the angers because like it's only one of the interviewers on like CBS this morning, but he said that Tom Hanks goes what he would some of the stuff that he's writing in his book could be appear in like an extremist like handbook. And my God, the Tom Hanks like handled that like very well. And he says like, well, the reason why I didn't present like any Israel perspective on the situation because there's no shortage of that in mainstream media for one
Hmm.
thing. And so yeah, but it's like eh, eh, and so and that's the thing is just like it's so the media is so like kind of like manufacturers are content to be
Hmm.
pro-Israel in a lot of ways too, as well as being pro-military and that sort of thing too.
And
That
I think
like
it's deliberately set up to defeat doomerism.
yeah, honestly.
if I saw a Zionist, I would just want to beat the fuck out of that person.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I understand where you're coming from there, but be careful with
That
that kind of
is
comment.
why I generally try to avoid political conversations at work, because
Mhm,
regardless of working for the state in healthcare,
mhm.
there's still a weirdly high amount of people who are like not
Sick and dying.
great. Like even like about the government existing
Mhm.
and what do you call it? And whether or not certain people should get health care. And it's like, oh, huh,
Mhm,
You want
that's
some
weird
people
that
to
you
die.
feel that way.
mhm.
Yeah,
Uh,
that makes sense.
yes. Georgia B, that's an excellent point. How often that like dudes that's like mainstream outlets like will have like publicize op-eds and stuff like that like transphobic shit like the New York Times editorial board, the Guardian as well too. Some of the disappointment as well too. And yeah, like Mitchell, that's a fair part. The Starmer Party and the UK continues to disappoint over Israel too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
neoliberalism. Neoliberalism.
Must
So
support
yeah.
the empire. I love the
Yeah,
empire.
it is deeply depressing that despite like the needle at least slowly moving in the public about it, that
Mhm.
it feels like just whether or not everyone will be killed or be forced out, that enough of them will be that it'll before this actually ends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
America is a 57 Chevy, veering to the left and
yeah.
lurching to the right.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm kind of like at this point where I'm rooting on Iran to put a stop to this. I cannot fucking believe I'm hoping Iran stops this crisis.
What
If Iran attacks Israel, the US is going to attack Iran.
Iran. And then I think we'll get into a proxy war with Russia. Another proxy war with Russia.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it's pronounced Iran as well too, but like
it's where the word Aryan comes from because of the Aryan Plateau.
Yeah. But like we here in America something like that, we are all like taught to like the incorrect pronunciations of a lot of things as well too. So it's just like,
but there are multiple languages spoken in
True.
So there might be different pronunciations. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like how some people pronounce it U.S., some people pronounce it Merca.
Yeah, it seems unlikely that they will, and that's despite Israel's best efforts to provoke them to do so.
Yeah,
they're probably hoping for a coalition like the 47 war.
Yeah.
I think what I'm probably gonna do to take my anger out on this is to like better control my rage is I'm probably gonna like buy all those World War II Call of Duty games from PS2 and just swap out the Nazis with the IDF and Zionists. just all those fuckers.
If you wanted to do something productive, you could use your modeling skills to make a nice little map of Palestine before 47.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pretend I'm like some U.S. soldier from World War II, just sniping Zionists, rednecks, Christian fundies, all of them. All of them.
It's also,
fuck it.
Yeah. The whole thing about being called anti-Semitic for criticizing Israel. Am I anti-Christian for criticizing the U.S.?
Yes. No, not actually, but Republicans would say yes.
I don't. It's just like I'm not criticizing Jewish people. I am specifically criticizing the Israeli government.
Yeah.
Which is supposedly secular.
My personal favorite take on that is from Sam Cedar, where he's like legitimately like, I don't like the idea, the promise of Zionism that is to make the Jewish people safe in a Jewish state. The actual actions of Zionists are doing things that are against that, because provoking all of the nations around them is just legitimately making the Jewish people in that area and really throughout the world less safe.
That's the goal. If you're a Christian fundamentalist, that's what you want, right?
Yeah, and the fact that
if you're a U.S. politician, you're an imperial politician, you want, destabilization. You want this controversy. You want it to distract from the actual goals. You want it to be inflamed.
Maybe it's not even about Israeli people necessarily, unless they are in the IDF.
Well, I mean, a lot of the civilians there love the IDF and what it's doing. They sit and watch the bombings like it's fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you also remember too, a lot of Israelis like to paint themselves as white, so there's that.
It's
But I really I really just trying to like to make it about politics and not like the people.
Hmm. Yeah, because people are not their government as well too.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
again, our friend Vovkats is Russian. He has strong criticisms for like Vladimir Putin and the Russian government.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
oh my goodness. I found out about a fun little stupid joke band in Russia that my friends found a bunch
Tata,
of
the
really fun
lesbians.
YouTube videos from. No, Little Big.
Pussy Riot.
Uh
Pussy Riot's awesome.
you
They're not a joke.
you
band.
should look at some of their songs. They are
Mhm.
ridiculous. Their first one that got big was legitimately called "My Dick Is Big," so that gives you an idea of
Oh, they
what
did
to
Skibbity.
expect. Yeah,
Yeah.
them. They after the invasion got started, they left Russia and went to
Tattoo,
bleh,
not Tata.
Los Angeles because they didn't want they wanted to speak out against the war, but didn't
Without
want to
getting
do
killed.
it in a way that could get them jailed or killed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And recently, like a week or two ago, they actually what do you call it? What's the word for when you are officially made not citizens?
Defective.
Persona
No.
non grata.
PNG is for diplomats.
Okay.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't think
I
there
forget the word.
There's almost certainly an official term, but I can't
I
bring
would
it to
say
mind.
expat.
Yeah.
Expat.
No,
Expat is
that's
just
just-
a person who lives outside their country.
Yeah.
Of origin.
It- Expat's just another word for
My
immigrant.
brain keeps going to excommunicated, but that's not the right term.
Yeah.
In
Oh, I have to
exile.
look this up.
I know what it is in Danish, but that's not helpful.
Denaturalization?
I'm curious.
Landsforvist, it's like you get banished from your country.
Yeah. Ostracized was what the Greeks did,
Yeah.
or at least the
Yeah.
Athenians.
Yeah.
But that was only for 10 years.
Expatriated.
That means you've left your
reunification-
country. It doesn't mean you've lost your citizenship. But when I Google it, it just says,
reunification of citizenship.
yeah. So you
The-
renounce or lose your citizenship. I don't know. Maybe denaturalize is the closest we can get.
I think denaturalized is the correct
Yeah.
term. Yeah.
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 No, and some people, some people like it, kind of like it, do it because like I want to just leave the United States of America because like
oh, yeah.
none
It's
of their,
denaturalization. Yeah.
is but some people but like one person just like, listen, I don't agree with the Democrats because I don't agree with the tax issue and stuff like that, and I don't agree with the Republicans because like I like cool with like other like people as well too. So then that person just like denaturalized, and it's just like okay, you can try the sovereign citizen thing as well too, but it's just like hey, and he said like actually it's becoming like more difficult to live my life as I normally do it when I do that, because like when I tried to visit family I need like a passport or something like that, and it's just like it was a struggle.
Mm.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You can renounce your citizenship. You can lose your citizenship. There's lots of different ways to become a non-person. But denaturalization usually applies to ethnic minorities prior to genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah.
Have you guys ever seen the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still?
Which
I'm
one?
familiar with it.
The remake is pretty good, but I watched the original last night.
I didn't like the remake with Keanu Reeves too much as well too, but the original, no, that one holds up. That one's still good.
The thing that's kind of the worst about the remake is it doesn't do enough different to justify existing.
I agree.
Well, they do renew their copyright. So
I mean, artistically, not from a business standpoint.
But Hollywood's never going to do anything new if they can do a remake or a sequel.
Yeah. Unless they can do something that was like proven a success and like proven to like be a return on investment as well too, including just like make a movie that's based off of like a board game because like hey, people will probably like go see this movie because it's based off a board game. Sometimes that works because sometimes you get like talented like writers and other stuff to like make a good and funny movie like Clue, or sometimes you make Battleship.
Trying to think.
And why would anyone try to make a film franchise off of a ride? It worked.
It did work for Pirates of the Caribbean. They actually like got like a script together for that, then it worked. And like let's take care of Lucidia. Thanks for dropping in.
Bye, Lucy.
Monopoly the movie.
The funny thing about the script coming together is it kind of didn't. Like
yeah, it kind of
everything that people really like about that film came together in the filming where
it was Johnny Depp
made,
being a cokehead.
Actors made their characters come to life. The cinematographer said that the cinematographer said, no, this scene is boring and added a bunch of stuff to fight scenes. Like all of the best parts of the movie are not in the script.
Yeah.
The script is kind of dull.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And that's sometimes
it's pirates fighting zombies. Okay.
I recently watched all of the first 3 movies in like a marathon. And by the end of it, I did not want to ever watch those movies again.
That's fair, honestly.
What about the Transformers movies?
Oh, they're
I
awful.
have never watched a marathon of those.
Those movies are garbage. Michael Bay doesn't make movies; he makes noise.
I think Dark of the Moon is pretty good.
The first Transformers movie had some of the better what do you call it?
Characterization?
What? No. Action.
Action?
Some of the better what do you call it? Reactions to and mixing of practical effects with
with
the
problem is sorry I interrupted. Keep going.
Like, and some of the cinematography works so good in that film that it is just so disappointing that it is tied to the most juvenile script.
Yeah.
Until Transformers 2.
I mean, one of the Transformers pisses on someone.
Yeah, it's
and the thing is, like, the script didn't have to be that way. Michael Bay made it that way.
Frickin' American Pie type catching him masturbate jokes about
and Megan Fox's
hiding
character.
the Transformers in his room, and it's like, what is even happening in this movie?
And like, given the lines and the actions, Megan Fox's character is the most competent individual. You would not know that to watch the movie because all Michael did was show her tits and ass.
Yes.
Oh, I really, really enjoy that Dan Ellison video.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Dark of the Moon. I don't know, like a lot of the movie.
The plots, those can be kind of interesting. The problem is that he's so attached to this idea that every single part of the Transformer has to be present before and after the transformation. You get these wildly different sized things, and also they all look samey because he's part of that early 2000s everything is brown movement.
Yeah.
Bumblebee is very fun though.
I did like Bumblebee.
I really it legit felt like somebody took one of the half-hour cartoons of the G1 series and expanded it into a movie.
Yep.
And made it live action. Like the characters felt like, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I kind of hate the guy, but I think that Joss Whedon could do a good Transformers movie.
I can see Joss Whedon doing a good Transformers movies, yeah.
But he's not allowed to do any more work until he apologizes for hurting people.
Yes, he should.
Did you guys ever like the Bumblebee movie that they had?
I was just talking about that.
Oh, okay.
I did see the Bumblebee movie in theaters as well too, and like I enjoyed it too. But it was fun.
Isn't there a new one? But it's not like Michael Bay. It's like it kind of goes back to the old 80s.
What do you call it? There's a new animated
Yeah.
New animated computer animated guy. I haven't seen, but
Mm.
I haven't even like heard anything about it. But apparently it's out.
Okay, yeah.
Transformers 1.
No, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Directed by
No.
Josh Cooley.
Okay, yeah. That not
As
familiar
Chris
with that name.
Hemsworth as Optimus Prime.
No, I can see
One
that.
thing I would like to see as a movie, and I don't know if this is just a really obscure thing that I saw when I was a kid, but it was this cartoon called Jace and the Real Warriors.
Ooh, I
I've
don't
never
know
heard
if
of
I've
that
seen
one.
that.
No,
Mhm.
but it was this cartoon about sort of plant robot hybrid machines.
Ah.
And it was just really cool, but it was like an 80s cartoon, so it had the best sort of intro music.
Nice.
But
Yeah,
it's
because
probably like a really obscure thing.
If they leaned into the
Yeah.
camp, He-Man would
Mhm.
be a great live-action movie.
Yeah.
there was like wasn't there like a
Oh,
live
there
action
definitely
aspect?
Yes.
was, but it was
Yes.
one of those crappy.
It was a canon film.
I think I seen that one,
Well,
honestly.
Lundgren
It's
as
it's
He-Man.
No, yeah, that's what I'm gonna see, man. I can definitely see that.
it's yeah, it's an experience. It's not a
Oh my
not a
God, they're
good
making one. It's coming out in 2026.
Yeah.
Okay.
Masters of the Universe. Let's see, what is it? Oh, it's not going to be live action. Looks like it's going to be a cartoon, and it's going to be a TV
I
show.
really hope they lean into the camp because the camp
Yes.
is fun.
Yeah, you gotta like lean into the camp, dude.
Oh my
That's
God,
like
it
that's the
has
whole part.
Allison Brie.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a cartoon? What's it going to be?
Yeah. And you're right, Mister. I do not want Hollywood to do a Dark Souls like movie or an Elden Ring movie. I do not trust Hollywood to do that as well. Too.
You can't do that with Dark Souls.
No, you can't.
I mean, we're fortunate that Germany closed the tax loophole that Uwe Ball used to make all the terrible movies.
Yep.
So we can now expect to get decent. Like apparently the Super Mario Brothers movie was fine. I never saw it.
Yeah,
but
it was-
apparently it was fine.
it was a kids movie. It was perfectly acceptable kids movie.
Okay then.
Mhm.
So I mean, the Dark Souls. So much of that is the lore,
Yeah.
and I mean, so much of that is the horrific grinding to get good enough to
Yeah.
be able to fight. But the lore
Yeah.
is really deep in that one. So
hmm
that'd be like trying to make a Shadows of the Colossus movie.
Yeah. It's just
I mean,
like
it's nothing but boss fights and
Mhm.
then long conversations.
hmm I still have not played the Shadows of the Colossus. I played a little bit of like Ico, but like I haven't beaten it. So yeah.
I never
but
played
there's
Ico,
just
but Shadow of the Colossus is good.
Shadows of the Colossus is
Guys,
definitely worth going to.
It's very atmospheric.
Mhm.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Knowing before? Nicolas Cage.
Nope.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Why are
The
they
Sims-
making a Sims movie? Yeah, but-
It's going to be campy. Why would they make a Lego Batman movie? It's going to be campy and fun. It's
Well, Lego Batman was Lego. It's like campy and fun, and that worked.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're going to do with The Sims. They're going to lean into some of the more ridiculous aspects of the game. It's just going to be made for the fans, and there's a lot of fans of The Sims, so
Yeah,
I think it'll
yeah.
They need to make a Grand Theft Auto movie. I would watch the fuck out of that.
that would just be a basic.
I say just make a crime movie.
They did.
without
They made
that
the
thing.
Transporter and Transporter 2.
I
Transporter
was
3.
gonna say,
They made
that's-
Crank. Crank 2. I mean, goddamn, they've already made it
No,
7
no,
times.
yeah. Crank is like perfect example of a video game movie because like it operate the laws of the rules
Yeah,
of Crank operate
Yeah.
like a video game.
Crank just is a Grand Theft Auto movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He doesn't die because he keeps finding health packs.
Actually, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, maybe one day I should make a video game called Grand Theft Auto Tallahassee.
I'll say the next game is taking place in Florida, or
Again?
the
Well,
Grand Theft Auto version of Florida.
we've already had that. It's called Vice City.
I
Yep.
know, but it's
But it's
the
probably not
next
going to be
one
set in the
is
80s.
doing-
Or it might.
This one will be a contemporary, or at least close to contemporary timeline game.
I'm so surprised they made a game called Grand Theft Auto, and like it never got banned, even though
I mean, it did.
It did get banned in like Australia. Oh, video games get banned from like
It was a
Australia all the
controversial
time.
series from the jump. They knew exactly what they were doing.
It was like San Andreas was pulled off the shelves because of the hot coffee scandal.
Yep.
I always knew it was controversial. I just thought, like, damn, like the title. It's a fuck. The title, Grand Theft Auto, an actual crime.
Yeah.
The first game, you can gun down a nun leading a group of school children.
No.
They did not shy away from that shit.
I mean, there was even a Pulsar movie, but again, that was like Uber Bowl as well too. Detective Pikachu was pretty good. Yes, Detective Pikachu was pretty good. That was an entertaining like movie. But like when Hollywood decides to make a video game licensed movie, they just like take a movie that they've already made before and then like, well, this is a video game license, so it works with this. Like Max Payne, a bad cop movie. There you go. That's Max Payne.
Yep. And I will say this in defense of Ibal. He made a lot of terrible movies because that was what he was paid to do.
Yeah.
Because all it was a tax write-off for rich people. It was a payday for him and the actors. It was simple. He just gave it a basic, stupid script. And each one of them is technically well done with everyone phoning it in.
I was going to say, there's one...
He did a documentary that's actually praised.
There's one movie he did about a serial killer that just follows that character, and the actor actually gave a fuck, and it's legitimately a good movie. I cannot remember its title.
He's done a couple movies that weren't based on video games. They weren't just a tax write-off, and he shows that he cares. He's not a great director, but he's good. He's competent.
Yeah. It's definitely like he is competent.
Yes, he
but
is.
Lazy. It's the same. I forget his name.
You're not going to put the effort into something that's not. They
guy
give
that
you
did
just
a lot of
enough.
the canon films. God, what was his name?
Don't know. I have to like look up the canon films.
Canon films for what?
One of the main directors in the canon for the canon films.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, films made by the Canon Group. Okay.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Masters of the Universe, Superman 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
Invasion USA. Oh my God. Death Warrant with Van Damme.
I have heard of these movies, though, and I'm just like thinking...
10 to Midnight. Is that Bruce Campbell? Or is that Charlie Bronson? That's Charles Bronson. Gore. Oh, shit, they made a Gore movie? Jesus Christ.
I think I've seen some of these, like, ninja movies, honestly.
Yeah.
Love Streams, Ninja... Revenge of the Ninja, and Sinbad of the Seven Seas. Jesus Christ, that looks like porn.
Whenever I think of Sinbad, I think of the actor Sinbad.
Yeah, Sinbad the Sailor, who did not play Shazam. The happy hooker goes to Washington. Oh my God, these look terrible. I love it.
I guess you know what you're getting as well. So, did it? No, I don't think that I've seen like doing Black Scorpion. That movie I did see, only because it's R-rated, and I was like, I bet I was going to see it. I heard the first Silent Hill movie was like decent as well too, and that's right. The like Silent Hill 2 has got like a remake as well too that just came out.
I mean, and like Silent Hill is one of those movies that I think could make a very effective horror film, a psychological horror film.
Yes,
because I mean the atmosphere they took. I love when people take advantage of the limitations of what they're working with to do something amazing. And those early Silent Hill games. They couldn't do long distance views, so they just filled everything with fog.
Yeah,
and it's so effective.
I like the Silent Hill movie where they come home and it's like it's not clear if they actually got out because they're in the house. And I don't know if anyone watched that movie.
I haven't seen it. An ambiguous ending can be amazing.
Yeah.
Usually I find them annoying, but.
Yeah, but but this ending is just really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about getting a PS2 for Christmas.
Yeah, there's plenty, but there's still plenty of those like around in the refurbished and stuff like that. I kind of realized years ago, it's like, oh my god, and not to say there's anything wrong with it, but like used video games market is like the used comic book market as well too, especially if you want like near mint and that sort of thing too, if it's highly sought after. It's just like, and I don't blame people because like some of those like old games I do want to play and like or never got a chance to play as well too. So yeah.
Actually, hold on. Before we leave, I need to show you guys something. So
Yeah.
you guys can talk. I didn't mean to cut off Ellie. So hold on.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
Was
there's something
the-
I want to show you guys too. It's neat.
Was the Doom movie any good? The one starring The Rock?
Doom.
It had like 5 minutes of like a good scene and a good idea that worked. and then that almost that exact scene was what do you call it? Made into a full movie called Hardcore Harry.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Hardcore. I was interested in seeing
like
it.
Doom is legitimately just
Hardcore Henry.
a boring, just Hardcore Henry. That's it. Just a boring. Essentially,
It's watching somebody play a video game, but without good.
It's like a bad. It's like a bad Alien sequel or bad Alien like spin-off or no, the word I was looking for is like homage or they're stealing from Alien as opposed to actually using the Doom story. Like I legit think they're actually aliens in that movie. It's been like I forget most of that. But like right near the end, there's this 5-minute scene where the whole entire thing is filmed as a first-person thing, and it just works, and it's so good, and it's kind of sad that the rest of the movie is so boring.
Kind of reminds me of a review of Hitch.
Yeah.
Not Hitch. Hancock.
Oh yeah.
The best first half of the movie followed by the worst second half of the movie.
Yeah, that movie sure does fall apart once it decides to
the thing is,
like
you take those two halves apart, you turn them each into their own full-length film. You have two very different but very good movies. Like the lonely amnesiac superhero alcoholic who tries to become a better man, that's a good movie. All by itself. This thing about gods and so on, and suddenly he becomes weak, that could have been an interesting concept explored by itself.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm reminded that Council of Geeks has a new video out where she picks The Shining apart.
Oh yeah, I need to catch that because I remember liking The Shining. I haven't seen it in a long time though.
I haven't seen it at all.
Well, now that what's his name is dead.
Opinion, but it's really funny.
Okay, yeah.
Now that Stanley Kubrick is dead, I would consider watching that movie not illegally.
Yeah.
Because now I can watch it without supporting that piece of shit.
Yeah.
But it's just like I mean, it's the funniest. It's one of the funniest reviews because she's so angry about it.
And what was his name?
No, her name is Council of Geeks.
Council.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, Verna. They are a friend of like Jesse Gender as well.
Okay, that's probably why.
Yeah.
I
know Jesse Gender is a bit sort of problematic at the moment with like.
Oh, I haven't heard this.
No, it's just Jesse Gender. I like her a lot, but she has a tendency to sometimes be a bit too charitable to a side she maybe shouldn't be charitable towards, and she's been a bit too charitable towards Israel. And
so you're saying she's weak? She won't survive the winter.
No, it's just like maybe not the best take at the moment, but she didn't want to upset her Jewish viewers, which is like understandable.
It's her living. She has to be careful. It's this
Yeah.
problem with actors and Hollywood and politicians and so on. You know, problem with actors and Hollywood and so on. You know,
Yeah.
if you make your money by being popular, you can't afford to not be popular.
Yeah.
I'm gonna back up kind of what Ellie said.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm kind of just good with like the job I do, which is just custodial work, because you don't have to really like appease people, because like
Mm.
it's yeah
Mhm.
that's why like I kind of like the job I have, because like I don't have to fucking conform to people's views and shit. So
Hmm.
I just do what I do, and I don't care if I piss people off as well too. So I don't care if I piss off like Kirok with like in my positions as well too, because sometimes my God, the statements that like Kirok said, like last week he said he's pro abortion, he's for abortion, for access to abortion and all, but he also said he is for forced abortion in the case of incest, as in direct a parent and child somehow.
Wait,
And I was
forced?
just yeah, no, he for the health of the child, he is for before abortion in that one particular case.
And that is
Which child?
And
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
don't do eugenics.
I mean,
I wanted to show you guys something.
yeah, let's change
Yeah,
topic and like Isaiah shows yes, the Nintendo Entertainment System.
God damn it, he saw it before. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Classic.
I got
oh,
this
the brick.
Christmas ago.
Remember,
Nice.
don't blow into the video games. That actually damages and corrodes the contacts.
Too late.
Oh,
Too late. I just did.
Oh, Super Mario Bros. 4 is a classic one.
Yeah.
Mario's
I had,
3, as
I had
everyone knows and recognizes from the hit film The Wizard.
I had to pick up the what do you call it? A newer version because I could not get my old brick to work. And every once in a while I just need to play more Pinbot, which is just a fantastic old school pinball game.
Oh yeah.
But
My favorite pinball game is like the Star Trek TNG pinball.
And
Like,
you have. Oh, are you doing phrenology?
no, but look at this skull. I like painted it and dripped rainbows all over it, and it's a lamp, but I'm not getting the light because it's a pain in the ass to deal with, and it would be way too bright.
Mhm. That is awesome though.
That
This
is nice.
is-
It kind of looks like a Day of the Dead thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's very, very fun. I
Mhm.
saw they had in the shop they had a one that was all painted all black, and they had done like the drippings of paint on it. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I bet, and you probably can't see on here,
Mhm.
but I also like
You speckled it.
just speckled it as well.
I see. Yeah.
But yeah, I really like how that guy turned out.
It's
And
Jackson
it-
Pollock means Hannibal the Cannibal. Yeah.
It holds my earphones when I'm not using them
Nice.
on my desk here, just to the right of the computer, like right there. Although I'm sure that came up as left for everyone who was watching because it inverts.
in our left, yeah, exactly.
Or
And
left,
you're
we can
right.
tell it's your right.
Right, yeah, yes, left, right, yes. There's only the left, right, left, left. That scene from
Wait,
the fun happened in the way.
Your right or stage right? I don't go.
Yes, stage right is
Uh.
very important. That's like from the perspective of the audience, so that's the audience right side as well too.
Mhm.
And upstage is like far away from like the downstage is still closer towards the audience. Yes, it's very important to know like what upstage right, the downstage, and like stage right and stage left means, and what that actually means, so that you don't miss your mark and don't break the
And your
proscenium.
mark is actually a mark on the floor.
Yes, it is actually a mark on the floor. And you're right, Mithro. The old like brick nest looks like a Tesla bus. Oh God, the Cybertruck has been like failing so.
Oh,
my
but I've seen
goodness.
several of them around town. They are.
I saw one the other day here in Tallahassee by FSU, and I'm like, virgin.
And I had a couple of passengers, and they just spent like the next 5 minutes riffing on how ugly and stupid it is.
Yeah.
And they said,
I'm
why would
like-
anyone buy one of those? I had
man.
the simple answer. Because once it hits 88 miles an hour, it takes you back to pre-apartheid South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, John,
Mm.
that is the joke.
I didn't come up with that, but
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Oh,
You get an award, joke of the day, roast of the day.
oh.
Oh, here's your fucking award, John.
You just have gold medals handy.
He does so
Fast.
much cosplay.
And actually,
I
It's not
think he's
even
gearing
that,
up to
it's
do
that
Mary
he
Lou
has
Retton.
it within
this
reach.
was in my computer desk, just sitting here, and I was just like, "You get your here you go, joke of the."
Oh, it's so funny.
But on that note, it's been an hour
Yep.
45 minutes, hour 50 minutes. We've gone a bit over. It's almost
Yep.
4 o'clock. Screw you, Mithril. Yes, it is.
So, does anyone have anything to plug?
My cat account on Blue Sky.
Luna
Okay.
Agargan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Agargan.
I'm putting more energy into the one on Blue Sky because it gets too much if I have to do Instagram and
Yeah.
threads too. It just gets a bit sort of like too much for two. I know this is a bit sort of shitty to say, but I do care about engagement because it is,
Mhm.
like
Yeah. So, Princess like Luna on Blue Sky. There you go. Isaiah, what project are you working on? Do you want people to check out?
I am working on my SS Kappa RMS Cappadocia model kit. I'm working on that. This week I should have the boat deck complete and the funnels complete and all lit up. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, and that is on your. Do you post these to your Instagram, like Classic Coxplay
Yes.
Crafts?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything to promote, Joe?
No, but out of curiosity, what is the title of the Ta-Nehisi Coates book? Because I have actually been looking to experience another nonfiction that makes me angry book. It's been about a year, so I think I'm ready. Oh man, that's so there's something primal about driving to work and just hating the police because you're listening to the end of Policing on Audible.
See, The Message is the name of his book.
Okay. Yeah. I don't say because what I did last time was, just talk about a good book I was reading. And it's like, I went to this summer, I went to a local like tabletop and other sorts of game convention
Mhm.
from the area called Phoenix Con, and uh they had like an author's book, and I ended up picking up uh titles and stuff for like three localish art authors, and right now I'm listening through it's called Tech Ghost, or the first three books of the Tech Ghost series by a Ben Wolf. It's okay so far. I haven't really gotten to the point where it like is a plot that moves me, so I definitely don't feel like recommending it yet, but it's fine. Like it's well written.
I see. And I'm Summer and Geek on Tumblr, Blue Sky, co-host it, but like it's read only and it's gonna go away by the end of the year. But like Threads and Twitter, yes, I'm still on Twitter. Jonathan Scott on Facebook if you want to find me on Facebook as well too. But on YouTube and Twitch, and like do check out my YouTube channel because like now I've been like editing like the things my streams when I've been reading the Democratic Party platform and then cutting it down into like small sections where I read this section on like lowering costs, this section on like healthcare, this section on like infrastructure, manufacturing, that sort of thing too. So check out my videos there. But also later today, after I get off this stream, I'm going to be doing some gaming on like both YouTube and Twitch. That's Summer Geek on both the places. I think because it is spooky season, I think I'm gonna play what I deem to be like a kind of spooky, kind of like Halloween themed like game in like I just want to get back into like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night as well too because I love
Oh,
that game.
Bloodstained's fun.
Yeah, Bloodstained's fun. Isaiah, you have your hand up.
Yeah, one last thing. I'm probably gonna for the first time next week, since it is spooky season, I will be watching Beetlejuice.
Good movie.
The new or the old one?
The
Damn.
old one.
Yeah.
All right, no, the first one,
I haven't
The
heard
first
any
one.
reviews on the second one yet.
The Addams Family from 1993, and Scream.
It Scream's good. And that Adams Family is very good, honestly. Julia, the actor who plays Gomez, he was great in the movie.
Oh yeah, and those two fuck.
Yeah.
I
I mean, no one can beat Christina Ricci though.
I rewatched Scream like last year, I think,
Mhm.
and it is legitimately does not hold up. Like I don't remember it being, or I remember it being a lot better, and I feel like the difference is between that. I saw Cabin in the Woods, which is
Oh.
so much better as a meta take on the horror genre.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Because
see.
everything that Scream does lampshades, but Cabin in the Woods parodies it.
Mm.
And what do you call it? The whole that it has to fit to the conforms of the genre, the elder gods essentially being the horror audience that doesn't let horror get creative is such a good touch.
Okay, that's a good recommendation for a Cabin in the Woods then. And John Brockman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Yes, we have not been able to record Dungeons and Debacles in weeks, and probably won't for several more weeks because our DM, Kevin, he got hit hard by the hurricane. He's back in his house now. He has power, but they're going to have to... Both their driveways were washed out. They have a lot of trees falling down that they need to cut up, and they're looking at the water damage.
Yeah, my game's not till Thursday, and I have a plater from Florida that I haven't heard from yet. So I'm hoping he will be in a condition like power wise and whatnot. Well, I really hope that he's just okay first, but I haven't heard anything. Oh man.
Yeah, I know it's been pretty rough around here.
I mean, Hurricane Milton like tore off the roof of Tropicana Field. That's where the
Oh
rays
yeah.
like play.
Isaiah, do you know how bad the Orlando area got hit? Because that's where my friend is near.
I don't know much about Orlando. Let me do a quick search.
Oh, I could. If we're doing a search, I can just do that. But
Okay.
I was just curious if you just happen to know.
I know. I mean, it was pretty. I dare say like. I mean, well, actually, there was a shit ton of tornadoes that hit.
Yeah, I know.
South. I don't know about Orlando really. I know Tampa got.
Disney World is safe. Universal Studios is safe. Everyone else is probably fucked because that's Orlando.
Yeah, I think Orlando's probably okay. I know there's probably still a lot of power outage down there, but
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so with that in mind, also don't forget the Journalings page. Check out if you have any extra means as well too. There is a link in Journalings page for like disaster relief aid for like the hurricane like Helena. I'll try to find like if I see one for like Hurricane Milton, I'll add that one into Journalings page. I'm probably just going to add like links to mutual aid disaster relief because that's a good evergreen one that like also a good resource on like things because like believe it or not, despite how like people always like act with other people, especially with policy wise and stuff like that, people want to help other people.
Oh yeah,
and that's just a part of human nature. We don't there's so what the inherited mistrust, but no, people want to help other people, and like their mutually disaster rate is kind of way to do that whenever it happens, and like you can do
mutual aid
outside.
What was it? There was the charity. Modest Needs. And a couple months back, I mean, they've done such good work, right? Turns out we learned a couple months back that the guy in charge of that, the CEO, has been embezzling for years and just spending outrageous sums of money on restaurants and apartments.
Oh.
Terrible.
I mean, and they still helped out a lot of people, but he basically stole $6 million from people in need.
I'm gonna watch this tonight.
Mean Girls?
So,
yeah.
Again?
No, Not again. I didn't watch it. I watched shit. I I okay. No, not again. I'm watching it tonight for the first time in a couple weeks.
But also, how about Joanne Robinson
There
and
is an
Phoenix?
Avril Lavigne poster in that movie too.
You know, if you watch that back to back with Clueless, you get transported back to the 90s and turned into a white girl.
And on that note,
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye.
Hydrate.
Bye, guys. Love you.
And if there's a disaster coming up, remember to get bottled water. If you can, get ice before everyone sells out. Toilet paper, you'll need that.
The ham radio as well too. Look into that for communications in case like power it goes out, phone lines go out, and networks go down too.
And good afternoon, Mithril.
Shut up!
And don't forget to buy some white boots for DeSantis so he can do his white boots impersonation.
Bye, everyone.